Okay, hello, namaste, welcome. My name is Deepak Khemani. Good morning, good afternoon, or maybe even good evening, in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. Welcome to the consecutive non-stop 122nd episode of the Bloom Sunday Talk Show. Bloom, which blossomed during the pandemic. We had no idea, the five of us who planned and executed this Sunday event, hoping that it will provide some guidance to people in the pandemic. Pandemic is over. Everybody is back to their own business, their own work, their own professions. The Bloom Sunday Talk Show continues as it was. My name is Deepak Khemani. I'm one of the co-founders, along with Premraj, Payal, Abhijit, and Dr. Neeta. Welcome you to the show. Today is a very special topic. This is something which we haven't, spoken on this show. We've had trainers, coaches, speakers, doctors, nurses, healers, authors, sportsmen, everybody from different fields. But I'm sure this topic has not been discussed, and it is so relevant today. We have a very special guest who is joining us all the way live from Singapore. I would ask Premraj to introduce her and take the show ahead. Over to you, Premraj.
Thank you, Deepak. Yes, we have a very special guest on the show today, and the topic too is something very special. We have Seema, who is based in Singapore. She has her own company called FashionovaSG. She is a fashion and dance choreographer by profession and is a well-trained folk dancer as well. She has participated in various dance competitions, and she's also the winner of the Jhalak Dikhhla Jaa Singapore edition. She's appeared on Colors Television on various dance shows. She's also the winner of the Best Dancer of the Dancing Stars of Singapore at the Dance Planet, and is also one of the panel of judges for the Singapore Lumiere International Beauty Pageant contest. She has also the honor of participating in the 51st Singapore National Day celebrations for Queenstown Community Centre, and she has choreographed numerous dance and fashion pageants. This year, she also started her own chat show named Smile with Seema, where she informally chats with distinguished luminaries on various topics and which are with the path-breaking personalities. Her enthusiastic and fun-loving character enables us to mix with people of all ages. She's a proud mother of two, and her husband, Kaushik, works in the maritime industry. Thank you, Seema, for being on the show, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, firstly. And I can't be more thankful to Bloom World, and especially Miss Payal Irani, who connected with me on Facebook. And I'm so honored to be on this particular platform and sharing my screen with you two great hosts, Mr. Premraj and Mr. Deepak Khemani. I'm truly honored, and my greeting from Singapore to everybody from staying in any part of the world. A very warm welcome, and to enjoy this particular show today, which these two great gentlemen are going to host with me. I'm truly excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. And today we'll be talking about marriage and relationships.
Yes.
So let's start with the first question. Do you feel the institution of marriage is crumbling?
Oh yes, it is. It is really crumbling, because let me be very honest. We are married for about last 32 years, and I've seen the changes in the perspective of marriage. I mean, how things have not been the same anymore. The way we have been born and brought up and seen our parents and our grandparents, how they have had the perspective of marriage. Firstly, I feel it's the ego issue, then the financial independence. Because of being financially independent, it's a very healthy and nice thing, but it is affecting the marriage. Then ego clashes. I mean, the compromising, they want to compromise, and we are living in a society, especially in Indian society, because I know how it is. There are a lot of expectations from the bride, so nowadays the girls, they don't want to get into that kind of a scenario. they're so happy with the way they are, they're earning, they're doing well with their lives. They don't want to literally compromise on those aspects, because in our society, when you're marrying to the entire network, to the entire, family. So it becomes too much of a burden on a particular or a new bride. Then comes the not respecting the differences of two individuals. See, marriage is about two individuals coming from different walks of life and starts to build a life together. But you have to learn to respect the differences as well. You learn to appreciate, give space, value, and you always also like, appreciating to every small little aspect of your life. And that's how the marriage blooms, like the bloom world, that's how it is. Then comes the nuclear family, because these days nobody wants to stay in joint family. Earlier times it was much different. Like we also did stay in a joint family. It just last about a decade or so we are staying as a nuclear family. But things have changed now. Now nobody wants to stay in a joint family. Everybody wants to have their own freedom or own way of living, own lifestyle. So it's understandable. I can, this is how what it's expected now, and that's how the scenario is going around, And again, financial independence is very good, but so much so that it is affecting, the clashes keep happening. The guy will say, okay, this is not my job. The female will say, this is not my job, So these kind of things, small things, leads to a very high level, and it just mounts out, as it just bursts out. So as a result, marriages are crumbling down. So this is, I feel personally, these are the main issues. I mean, there could be more, but these are the main crux of holding a marriage together.
Thank you for sharing that. And when we talk about crumbling marriages, the new fad that we see is live-in relationships.
Yes.
Do you feel this live-in relationship is going to be the future of our human relationships?
Yes, it has already started. I can see it all around, be it globally. It's not only in India, it's globally. You have to be progressive also. I mean, you can't just have this old school thought kind of a thing. You have to be progressive. And you have to move with times. You have to move. Now, I have two grown-up adults. Now, if they want to have, I cannot stop them. I have to value their thought, they whatever they plan. I have to respect that. I just can't put in my my views and my opinions on them. I have to go with the flow. I have to be progressive enough. Then it gives a testing phase to a relationship. Okay, I'm living for this many years. Is he or she the right person for me? So that's also like a testing phase, because these days the relationships, they are not fully committed initially. Maybe it takes a while, or maybe doesn't also. It depends from relationship to relationship. The last but not the least is, it's like a trailer before you release the full movie. So the trailer part, they would like to, spend time together and then see if they're able to adjust, each other's weaknesses, the strengths, and that's how it is. So I feel that they don't want to be committed. They don't want to give in their full, they don't want to get hooked onto it. So they prefer live-in relationship. As and when I feel I continue, if I feel I cannot handle it, I simply walk out. It doesn't happen in a marriage, you know how it is. It's a very different scenario for a marriage. It has so many procedures to come out of it, So I feel nowadays youngsters definitely they prefer live-in relationship, and we also are being very progressive and accepting it very well around. So I think it's not a bad idea. If they are happy, so are we.
That's a nice way to put it. If they are happy, we should be happy. Now, coming to the next one, there are many countries which have accepted same-sex marriage. What are your views on that?
Well, as a society, we have evolved and we have to evolve. We have to understand that there is more than two genders, because there's already research going on. So far, we were a stereotype, only male, female. But actually, if you see lately, there's so much of research going on that there are more genders than just these two. So we have to accept it, acknowledge it, respect it, and also I feel give them their value. Every person should be respected, loved, and given the right kind of platform. I feel, in my opinion, we have to, believe all humans to be respected, no matter of what religion, caste, or nationality they belong, because it's very important. We have to see that how best they are for the society as well. It's not just the gender which counts. So we have to evolve. We have to understand. We have to respect them. We have to also give them that equal kind of right which we as if you are male or female we have. So I feel there's nothing wrong in that. We have to take it in a very right perspective and just respect them and just go out and do whatever best for them.
When we talk about the same-sex marriage, somehow or the other, society is still not willing to accept it, feeling that this is against the law of nature. So how is it that we can prepare society to accept this?
I mean, see, it's up to you. I mean, if I don't want to accept, I will not. But if I see from the right perspective, you try and see, put yourself in that person's place. You know, since we are in that gender where male, female, so we can say it with pride. But I feel we should also put ourselves in their like their portfolio and see what it is and how it is hard to feel and to understand their psyche. So it's very important. You have to understand, value. You have to give them that opportunity and accept them so well in the society. And there's so much of awareness and so much of things around where you can study, you can do your research yourself, find out. And I see there's nothing wrong. What's wrong in that? I've seen people who have such great talents. There's such great supermodels, trans supermodels. There's such lovely gays. There's gay singers. There are lesbians. There's such lovely dancers. So there's nothing wrong in that. Finally, we all are humans. We should not forget that. It's very important. So for me, everybody is equal.
Thank you. That's a nice way to put it. Everyone is equal.
Yes, thank you.
We spoke about live-in relationships. Now, in the institution of marriage itself, within the boundaries of the marriage itself, there is a new concept that is gaining currency, which is an open relationship wherein two people are married to each other, but between themselves, they have an understanding that they can opt for multiple partners. What's your view on this?
Open marriages, I think, to some extent is healthy, but it is not long lasting. Because I feel at the end of the day, it's going to hamper your relationship. So if you want to spice it up, why go for another extramarital? You can do it, spice it up with your partner, your same partner. Why do you have to look for somebody else? If that sort of a intimacy you're looking at, or that sort of a lifestyle you're looking at, you can always spice it up with your same partner. So I feel, okay, for a short time, it's a short-lived kind of a thing. It's like a glamour life, very short-lived. But it's not long-lasting. So now, if you're looking at long-lasting, I would say to me, it's not a good idea. But yes, everybody has their own choice. But personally, I feel it's not a good idea. If you want to have a relationship with somebody else, I would rather invest that time with my partner, my same partner. That's what I believe in.
Thank you. Because today, during the morning itself, before when I was preparing for the show, I was reading an article in the Times of India, today's Times of India, wherein this thing was discussed, and they have quoted multiple examples wherein two people in the relationship, in a marriage relationship, having multiple partners, both males and females having multiple partners. Right. So I was quite surprised about this. How is it that intimacy, you can have intimacy with a lot of people, but then the real love, which is there in the institution of marriage, can that be spread around? It's like spreading jam on jam or butter on bread.
Well, I wouldn't say there's something called love in these kind of relationships. It's more of physical relationships. Love is something different. It's very pure. That purity you cannot spread with others. You can only spread with one person.
True.
That is, I'm talking from our experience of marriage. If you want to have, you can have multiple partners, but that purity you will not get. It's very different. Relationship intimacy is different. Pure love is different. We cannot club it together. So marriage is not about intimacy. It's about the love and respect. So many things. A holistic point of view. I mean, if you're trying to share your love with, it can never be shared. You are just sharing the intimacy of physical relationship. Probably you want to enjoy more. You want to have, some varieties. But love you can't have. You cannot share that kind of love, your variety of love with others. So that is my way of looking at it. So I mean, okay, for a short while, fine, but long run, this kind of relationship definitely hampers.
It won't last.
And it will not last. It definitely will not last. And then you will be shattered yourself.
True, that's true. The upcoming generation, Generation Z, they have their own ideas. What do you feel will be their ideas about relationships?
Oh, I've got two kids who are the same Gen Z age group only. And I've checked up with them. They say we don't need to have a long relationship. We are so much we are all already well established. We are doing so well for ourselves. Why do we have to be hooked on to somebody else? We are fine the way we are. We want a comfort zone. We want a lifestyle. Because when you're into a marriage institution, then it is not just me, it's we. They don't want to become we. They want to stay me or I. So again, that they would prefer going things as per their way. When you're again married, then you have to share things. You have to go as per the other person or vice versa. Here now, these generation, they don't want to do that. Yes, they want to have a nice time. They'll go for clubbing. They'll go have whatever relationship they'll have physical. That's about it. But they don't want to take any kind of responsibility, especially when it comes to marriage and stuff like that. They don't want to get hooked on to anybody. They just want to have a cool, free life, but yet they want everything, but not long lasting. It's short and sweet. That's about it. So I feel this is the generation, that's how they think. So we don't have much choice. We can only guide them and tell them, but rest they will do what they have to do. So that's all I can say. So it's okay. I mean, if they are fine, it's fine then. We can't do much.
What your advice and guidance, how well will this generation take, which has a feeling we are all old school thought?
So see, it depends now from every person to person. Some may take it very nicely, some may not take it nicely, or they think, oh my God, it's a generation gap. We cannot think the way you have thought, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it's completely their choice. We can only guide, we can only show them the path, we can tell them the do's and don'ts. Rest, they have to decide, because after all, they're adults. We after a point, we can't do anything. We can only suggest them, we can guide them, we can teach them things through however way we want to, through our examples or whatever. But finally, at the end of the day, they will take the call. We can't. So
it's their decision, and we can only guide
absolutely,
them.
absolutely. And same goes with my kids also. I've told them, this is it. Now rest is your call. I will not put in my views and opinion, because yours is a different generation. We lived in a different generation, and the generation is going to be even more different. So we have to again move and be progressive as much as you can. So that's what my views on this.
That's a nice way to put it. Let me get Deepak on the show.
Sure.
Deepak.
So Premraj, I was having a discussion with a cousin of mine, and he shared this example. And I will try to marry it with the discussion which is happening just now. He said, we went to a restaurant and ordered for a pizza. Now, there were only two people, and both of them said, we will not be able to eat the full pizza. So they called the waiter and told him that we want one pizza with only one side cheese. Half side should be cheese. The other side should be only vegetables. That fellow said, no, this is not possible. He said, no, call the chef. We will tell him what we want, and we will ask him and tell him that this is the way we need it. So the chef came, and the same thing was explained to the chef. And the chef said, I've never done this before. Whenever I'm putting cheese on the pizza, it gets, applied on the full pizza. He said, try, I don't eat pizza. She doesn't eat veggies. Make one pizza, half with cheese and half with veggies. So finally, that guy relented. They got a pizza which was made, and one side was veggies and one side was only cheese. And it now seems that pizza is now the flavor of the season for that restaurant. It's on their menu where they say you can get half a pizza. So this live-in relationships and open relationships where you said, I will have only one side of the pizza. I will eat cheese and you eat vegetables and you enjoy, and still it's only one pizza only. So, and this just came to my mind when you both were discussing this. Having said that, it's all okay about choices. It's all okay about listening to your children's and other people's values, valuing them as human beings. The side effect of all this, children, the US has the highest number of single parent
Yes.
single
true.
parent families, So you are talking about yourself, my needs, my choices. I don't want to sit down for my full life with one person, be it a man or a woman. What about the child? Nobody is thinking about the children. How
Very
do
true.
we fit them in? How do we
Yes.
start talking about them to make these Gen Zs understand that, the values of our grandparents, our grandmothers, and
Right.
grandfathers, which were handed down during generations,
Hmm.
are actually more valuable than what you consider today as values.
Very, very true. And having said that, let me add this to it. I don't know how much you're aware. Even UK has the highest number of teenage pregnancies. So this is one of the reasons also, because parents are they're very unstable. Your relationship has to be stable in order to set the good values, and the children learn when they see their kids. Like today, my kids are there. I've got two grown-up adults. Touch wood, me and my husband, we are like friends. So if we have a good relationship as friends, the children see, and then they say to us, well, Mama, Papa, you're such great, you guys are like friends to us. We can talk to you about anything and everything under the earth. There's nothing that we can hide, be it on sexuality, be it anything for that matter. So you have to have that kind of relationship, especially when your kids are grown up. Because what happens if father or mother, for that matter, is not very sure about their relationship? So you see the children, they are floating, So you yourself have to have that pillar in order to see that children don't get drowned. So that is very important. And this is what is happening in the US, UK, and so much has come to India, I'm seeing. So I have known so many people around who are becoming single parent for whatever silliest reasons. I mean, you have to compromise. Even we did have ups and downs in our lives. It wasn't easy. 32 years of marriage wasn't easy. But we all have to work on it. You have thorns, you have to walk on it in order to get that rose. You have to walk, but you have to do it. But the problem is happening. The kids nowadays, even parents, young parents, they have become intolerant. They just don't want to take that extra edge, which we have done, and we're still doing it. We're still doing it. So that to keep you sturdy and be on a middle path, there are certain principles you have to grab onto it. Otherwise, if you let loose, you're gone. And so much so it hampers the entire kids. And that's the reason the kids are all, they have these kind of, very psychic kind of a mindset these days. And again, social media is to be blamed. When they come back from school, university, there's nobody at home. Our time, I was at home, and when my kids came back from school, the first thing when I opened the door, they saw my face. Nowadays, where you see, there are helpers, there are maids, mom is busy, probably there she's traveling, father's busy. So kids are practically isolated. And the only thing they depend is on their social media. So what's happening? And there's nobody to guide them because there's no time for parents. And whatever little time they're so exhausted. So I don't blame them, anybody for that matter, but we have to look for a solution despite of having so many ups and downs. And I'm sure 24 hours is not less. We all can do it if we want to do it.
Clearly, communication is the key.
Very absolutely.
You cannot expect your children, just to grow up automatically.
No.
You are busy in your own business.
Once a parent, you're always a parent. I have my elder ones 24. I have my young one 18, but they still need me and I still need them. Even to quarrel, even to argue, we have to blast on each other, but we still each other. So that's the relationship is a must.
Exactly. Very well said. Once a parent, always a parent. However old you may become, you will always look out for what your children are doing, what they wore, what they ate, and where they went.
Exactly. It's very, very important. Very important, because family is the main bonding of any relationship, be it parents, grandparents, and most of course, the longest relationship is of husband-wife. So that bonding should be so strong, that good vibes and effect should come on the kids, no matter where they sit in any part of the world. But that kind of a vibe, it should always be hooked onto your DNA. I will see that way.
Exactly. I mean, when you are calling yourself parents, and if you are never available for your children,
then
you can't
it's
call yourself parents.
Then rather don't have kids. I would say rather
or you
don't
are
have
only
kids.
caretakers. Then you are not parents. You are not
Exactly.
parenting them.
No, very true, very true.
You are just providing them their needs. That's all.
And financial and all, you can't buy emotions with money.
Yeah.
You can buy you can only buy materialistic good, but you can't buy pure love. You can buy the motherly instincts. You cannot buy with money, no matter how rich you are, even if you are a billionaire. But
Yeah.
this is something law of nature. You have to go as per the nature.
Yes.
Once you go against the nature, it's going to have a adverse effect,
Yes.
and that's what is happening.
Yeah. Tell us your experience, when you decided to take part in these shows, in these
Okay.
competitions, clearly it would have taken time off your normal schedule of parenting and, family time.
Yes, yes,
How
yes.
did that work out? And when you win a competition, when you say, my mom won this, how
Yes.
was that feeling in the house, in the family?
Oh, that was absolutely nobody expected that. Neither did I. When we moved to Singapore, we are there for the last 8+ years. We moved in 2014. So till then, I was completely tied on with both my kids. So elder one is entering into high school, young one is entering into middle school. So there was juggling between the two of them, despite of the academics, even the other areas which I had to polish on to that.
Yeah.
And once they settled down, that's how I started focusing on myself.
Yeah.
Because I thought like, let me not disturb anything of theirs. Let me first fix them. They were like my project works,
Yeah.
these two. So complete my project work, hand over, and then I start the project on myself. And that's how I started focusing on myself, polishing in myself, participating. I had these talent in me, the elements in me. It was just diffused. I just needed time to inflate it. So when the right time came, I did it.
Yeah.
I went, I participated, I won. Because I'm so much into dancing and all. So whenever I got a chance in between, I should keep doing little by little. Along the way, while nurturing the kids.
Yeah.
So I never left myself behind. That's what I like to say through this media, that every mother, either you're too extreme, either you don't do anything or you do too much. Don't do that.
Yes.
Keep a middle path,
Yeah.
So you take care of your kids, but yet don't forget yourself on the long way, Then they, oh, अब तो time निकल गई, अब तो मेरे से कुछ नहीं होगा. That's very incorrect.
Yeah.
सब होता है.
Yes.
But and above all, you have to have the time management. You have to learn the time management. It's very
Yes.
important.
Yeah.
So you can do everything. So I took care of the house and my kids, and luckily my husband is very supportive. So he could do his bit also. So everything was well taken care of, The kids never had to worry, oh, this is not done, that is not done. It was all well taken care of. And then I started focusing on myself. It's of everything. So that's what I'm trying to say. You can do everything if you want to do. And if you don't want to do, then you have thousands of excuses.
Yeah.
So that's how I started participating in beauty pageant. First I did my dance. I won Jhalak Dikhhla Jaa in Singapore. It was just an open audition. I thought I just walked in. It was a walk-in audition. I went and I won. Out of 30 ladies, I was the oldest over there. I was 45 then. Now I'm 52, but that time I was 45, 46. So I was the oldest. I never knew. I won that. Then thereafter, I participated in beauty pageant. I was one of the finalists. I represented my country. And then I started my own company called FashionovaSG. Then I started my talk show because of COVID. I started my dance class, but because of COVID, I had to shut it for a while. So I said, what can I do? And talk show was on my bucket list. I said, why don't I start a talk show? I mean, let me take the plunge. What happens? If I don't do well, I shut it. But it was doing pretty well for a year. So I started with the tagline called Smile with Seema. And that time, because of lockdown and COVID, we all know what all we have gone through, not only physically, but more so mentally.
Yes.
And it is still there. A lot of people still have mental issues. They have not come out of it.
Yes.
So I said, let me do if I can contribute to the society, and was completely non-commercial. So I used to get all inspiring through. I never knew nobody. I just to connect with them, and they were so appalled with my kind of my actions. They said, no, we will come. Don't worry. And that's how I used to get all the ladies or gentlemen also for that matter. Everybody who have invited, they have really enjoyed the show, and I've enjoyed hosting them. So that's how I started. And then once things came back to normal, I said no, because I wanted to get a smile on people's face, because people were getting so depressive and they're diffusing and they were getting disconnected from life, I said, let me do something. And everything was online. Hardly people were stepping out. I said, this is the best time for me to start. So that's how I started the talk show for a year or so.
Yes.
And I can do it anytime, of course. I mean, I can always do it again. But that was a challenge to me, If I can bring smile to the people with so much of the way unprecedented time. So
Yeah.
why can't I'm sure I can do so much to the society in a small little way. So that's how I took the plunge.
Yeah. A while back we were talking about values, and clearly we've got our own values, Indian values, and then there are Western values, and now this Gen Z which is growing up and as an amalgamation of the Western and Indian values.
Right.
Probably they are also confused कि मैं हूँ किधर यार, वो क्या रहा है?
I know.
And since you mentioned that you 8 years back you moved countries, you went to another country, how easy or difficult is it, one for
Hmm.
parents,
Hmm.
second for children, to
Hmm.
move out from one culture into another culture, to move out from one set of values in which they were growing up or was brought up with, and suddenly being thrown into a different culture where in college everything is allowed, कुछ भी
Right.
कर सकते हैं, रात को लेट
Right.
भी जा सकते हैं.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
how easy or how difficult is it for parents and also for the children?
Hmm. Oh, so let's me put it this way. But thankfully, this Southeast Asia, we are quite alike. Like Singaporeans, for that matter, even Koreans, Japanese, and Indians.
Yeah.
Our values are quite the same.
Yes.
So from that perspective, there was not much of a movement from mentally at least. It was quite easy to move in, but yeah, there were some challenges definitely because of time zone. We are 2.5 hours ahead. That was a bit of a change, but though it wasn't much. School timings were become longer. These kind of small things were there. There in India is very easy, accessible to get helpers. I mean, maids, we call maids here we call helpers.
Yeah.
So helpers, it's a very expensive city. That's very, very expensive. So that was all that challenges were there. But I feel if you have that adjusting thing in you, I think you can be, even if you're thrown anyway, you can do it. There's nothing that you can't do it. I mean, I know people who moved in and they moved back because they could not continue. And we moved in pretty late. My kids were pretty grown. My elder one had just finished her class 10 and she was pretty grown up, and the younger one has just started a middle school. So we had come pretty late from that perspective. So which was again not easy, because after the age of 45, 40, people are in India say, oh, now we can't do this, we have this, that. But I am not like that, neither my husband. So we are very adjusting. So I said, it's a challenge. Let us do it. Let us see. And we did it so well. It's past 8 years now. I mean, people have looked up to us and said, you people have been an inspiration to us. If you guys could do it, why can't I? So that's how it is. So it's all up to you. If you want to take and sulk, you will do it. And if you want to take that up as a challenge and said, whatever it is, I will do it, no matter what. And we did it. So to tell you very frankly, the movement wasn't that difficult. Firstly, because of this country, city, it's quite similar to Indian culture. They have the parental thing, grandparents, so the divorce rate is less over here. So those kind of things was very good. And secondly, it's a very easygoing city. It's a very safe city for women. I call it a women's city. So all these things are a lot of plus points, so it wasn't that very difficult. But still, I will say definitely moving from your own roots and coming to a new place, and for the first time an international move. Being on vacations is different, but moving and staying for a long, that's different. So that of course did take a time, but then you have to channelize yourself, channelize your thinking. Oh, which is the positive thing, which is the better thing to do. Oh, this is good, so this is good for me, good for my family. So those things, one thing led to another, and that's how we never got a time also. We were so busy actually to think so much on those lines. By the time we used to be so tired, because here you have to do everything on your own. So by the time we were so tired, we just dropped dead on the bed. So actually that also was another good point. Keep yourself busy. So you don't get these negative things playing in your mind. I always believe keep yourself busy, whatever little way you want. Just keep yourself busy. And that's how we've moved and stayed this far. And kids also, luckily, they also adjusted very well. And of course, they've all, elder one is working in Perth, Australia, and younger one will be moving to Melbourne in February. She'll be doing a psychology. So things moved on. But yeah, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't that difficult also. And so it's up to you how you can take up the challenge. That's how it is.
Yeah, having been to Singapore multiple times, you never really get that feeling that you are away from India or
Yes,
it's a
yes,
foreign country.
yes, yes.
You know,
Too many
even
Indians, too many Indians.
Singapore has got a place called Little India. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how far can it
Exactly. Too many Indians, more than
be?
required. Too many. But sometimes I feel so many people have moved here, but yet to India, still having so much a huge population. How is that?
Yeah, clearly. Now, since you are an example of somebody who's been in one culture, moved to another culture, we are talking about values, we are talking about cultural differences. If you could share with us any incident which happened with you and your children or your family or your husband, or even those people whom you consult with, speak with, whom you possibly coach, any real life examples where you can actually say that, this happened and this is how we worked this out, or this is how it actually did not work, and something like that. If you could offhand share
Yeah,
some
sure,
real life
sure, sure.
example.
I will do that. I'll just narrate this particular incident which happened to my husband's office since he's relocated from the same company. And what happens in Singapore, there's a lot of these Tamil Nadu, they are the ones actually, like how in Kerala you have more of people from Dubai, from Kerala. So
Yes.
as same year also, more of Tamil Nadu people stay in Singapore. So they are more staying there for generations. So what happens? They think that whole of India belongs to Tamil Nadu. So they didn't have the culture that it's a North India, there's South India, there's East India, West India. They were not very clear about that.
Yeah.
So much so happened, like when my husband went the first day to his office, they just looked up to me and said, "You are so tall, you are so fair. How come you are not a Tamil Nadu?" Then my husband said, "Do one thing, get me a pen and get me a paper." He drew the entire our map and he explained because they had no clue. They
Uh,
thought whole of India is Tamil Nadu. My husband absolutely made it, the concept was cleared that this is North India, this is South India, this is East India, this is West India.
yeah.
And then thereafter, they understood this, oh my God, we are such a big country. Later on, the whole of India is Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Yes, we are such a big country. We have so many states, we have so many languages, we have so many cuisines. There are 100 drapes of saris. You can't even imagine the how potentially we are. The amount of potential we have in our
Yes.
diversity, in our culture.
Yes.
I mean, you can't even imagine. I think
Yeah.
nowhere in the world we have. You go to
Yes.
see nowhere in the world.
Yeah.
I've been to Europe country, I've been to others, but I have not seen this kind of culture diversity anywhere.
Yeah.
Every state has got something, to share.
Yeah.
It got its own charm. So we had to sit down and he had to sit down and explain it to the entire team of his.
Yeah.
Then they were saying, "Wow, we never knew that." So thank you. In fact, they thanked him. So
Yeah.
there's something we felt very nice that at least the concept is clear. They know that this is how they think that the skin color. I said their skin color is different in different states. North Indians are more on the fairer. South Indians are again they have different. So East India, West India. So
Yeah.
these kind of things we had to explain it to them. So then they were very happy and they really thanked him for that matter. So this was a very nice incident and I thought I must share it with you. Because the concepts have to be very clear about our own country, You feel proud that you are an Indian and there's so much you can share with the world.
Yeah. This is another thing which happens when that cultural shift happens, when there's, cultural shift because of a geographical shift which happens. You somehow tend to forget or only remember just that little bit which you thought, as you said, they thought that only Tamil Nadu is India, So really, this is something I've heard for the first time. I mean, we had heard lots of stories and experiences, but this part is something which I have heard for the first time. We have with us here Payal also. Payal, please say something, and if you have any question, ask Seema.
Yes, thank you. And hi, Seema. I look up to your post on FB and I follow it. And,
Thank you so much. I'm so honored.
Yes, and your posts are very inspiring. The way you dress up and you post and you dance with your family and your group.
Yeah, thank you.
It made me connect with you.
My husband has no choice.
A little while ago, you were talking about true love. The love happens only to one person. And in today's generation, people are having multiple wives, even women are having multiple
Yeah.
husbands, and also they are open for relationships.
Right.
Then where this true pure blooming love happens, because love to ek hi se hota hai na,
हाँ,
bari
हाँ.
bari you can't.
So, right.
So where this where can one person love multiple people, or what's that?
See, from my experience, I would say it's just once, because which is very pure. I mean, see, you can always put up a show by saying something, oh, I'm in love with you, but you know how much you're going to mean it. Love is something, you know, the sacrifice you do for that person, how much you know, you put that person front of you first, you know.
Yes.
You know, like if I have to think about my husband, first thing will come on my mind is he. Vice versa. The first thing to his mind will come me. So that's true love. I feel it. I mean, I can also fake to his batchmates. He can fake to my friends. But that is not the way it is, you know, that feeling is not natural. It's something is, I believe in very natural things, you know. So something which comes very, very naturally. So that is, I feel, is pure love, which is, it should be so, you know, effortless, and it has to have such a lovely vibe on the other person, a very good inspiration, sort of, you call it, or such a nice feeling, you know, that it's a true thing. Something is very true, very honest. There is no fakeism in this. It is very transparent. So that is what I believe in. So these days it's very, very difficult. So much so even friendships I've seen are so fake. Nobody really means anything. For that, I feel you yourself have to be an honest person. I'm a very honest person. If I'm a friend to somebody once, I'll be friend for life. So that sort of a caliber you should have. If you don't have it, then it's all fake, and it shows on your body language. At least I can see it. You know, somebody is faking you, I can make out the person's faking me. But if somebody is meaning, you can make out, you know, the person is meaning. So it is now with the kind of scenario, the kind of atmosphere, you can say, because of social media or whatever, you name it, however you put it. But I don't see that that genuine thing anymore. Very few handful, through my experience. So that is what I feel, that true love is something very natural. It should come naturally for somebody. You should feel it, and not only the person is like, you know, showering on you, even so much so you have to feel that person, the shower into you, that oh yes, he or she is really meaning it. It's not putting up a fake. It's not a very short term thing kind of a thing, you know. So I feel it should be very natural.
Thank you. It's an eye opener. So thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Thank you, Payal. If anybody from the audience, you know, would like to ask Seema a question directly, please unmute yourself and ask, or you could type it in the chat and, you know, I could read it out for her. Anybody in the audience has a question for Seema? Ratan, Brenda, Dr. Neeta, Abhijit. Okay, so by the time people get enough courage to ask a question about relationships, or
Right.
probably they are so happy and content with all the answers you've given them that there are no questions for them to ask
Thank you
about
so much.
relationships.
Thank
So,
you so much.
let me take you back and somewhere close to where Premraj started when he, you know, when you were having the Q&A with him. Coming back to what also Payal said, how and when do you decide that, you know, I've tried with being with multiple people or have had open relationships, and this is not going to work for me, you know, I will never marry anyone, you know, or I will never settle down anyone with anyone. Have you had people like that coming and telling you, no, पूरी दुनिया खराब है, सब लोग बिल्कुल बेकार है, मैं किसी के साथ compatible नहीं हूँ, या मेरे साथ कोई compatible नहीं है, and then I will lead my life single and alone without? Has that happened?
Actually, probably not of late, but yeah, I mean, years ago, I have come across these kind of situations once in a while. But again, I feel it depends on that person, you know. It is a very relative kind of a thing, you know. I can't, it's not like a formula which will work for me, it will work for you, or which will work for you, will work for Miss Payal. So it is something, it's very individualistic kind of a approach towards the thinking of that person. That if something is not working it means it is not worked once, it will like, it will never work for me. It's nothing of that sort. I mean, you have to give it a shot again if you want to, but yeah, you cannot shut your door fully. If again you want to have a good relationship, first you have to see into yourself. Is there a problem within you before you're pointing out on somebody else?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
why is that person, why is that you're not able to fit into somebody's life?
Yeah.
Would be there a problem with you? If there's a problem, first fix that, and then we can look ahead with the other person. And if need be, if you're already fixed, you think, yeah, you're fine now. If you see a problem in the other person, need be, you can help him or her out as well if you
Yeah.
want to do. But
Yeah.
before pointing out anybody, first you see what problem you have.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Because
You
we
know,
always blame others. अच्छा वो ऐसा है, वो ऐसा है, पर किसी ने
Yeah.
मुड़ के कभी ये किया है कि हम कैसे हैं? फिर ताली तो एक हाथ नहीं, दो हाथ से बजती है.
Yeah.
तो ये
You
बहुत
know,
जरूरी है.
it is said that if everybody has a problem with you, then you need to reconsider where the problem is.
Yes. So
If you
I
can't
think
get along with everybody else, you are the problem, not
then the
others.
problem is lies somewhere with you. So fix that up and find out where's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll tell you, you know, I actually had attended a wedding of a friend. This lady was 50 years plus, and
okay,
the guy was around 60, and it was the first wedding of both of them. So ऐसा भी होता है. I have attended this, actually physically I have attended this wedding. A 50 plus lady with almost a 60 plus, almost 60 guy, and their first wedding of both. So
wow.
I'll just share with you a personal
Sure.
story. It happened with one of my clients, and I would like to have your views on this. So they have this very pretty, lovely 35-year-old daughter, very, very successful, works in a bank and big fat salary.
Right.
And they were, you know, in the arranged marriage, trying to find a boy for her. Now, you know, the girl is 35. She looks 25. I'll tell you. I mean, very, really, very pretty and very, very nice girl, well qualified.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally found a match for her
Okay,
within the
okay.
arranged marriage thing. You know, the families were good. The boy
Right.
and girl went out with each other. They said, okay, chalo baba, shadi karte hain.
Ah.
And one day, the boy's father called up the girl's mother, telling her, see, we are quite well to do. After marriage, we wouldn't like our daughter-in-law to be working.
Working. Okay. Oh.
This lady threw a fit at that time on the phone. He said, आज के बाद बात नहीं करना. Who are you to decide what my daughter will do or what my daughter will not do?
Right.
She is educated. She makes money for herself. She will decide. They broke off whatever was happening on that phone immediately. And she narrated this story to me. You know, कि दीपक मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ. Now I was thinking, and again, there are two sides of the thinking. One was that, you know, I'm very proud. I'm very, you know,
Doing very well
this
for
is
myself.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, my parent, my child. How come he is a person who just knows us from last 1 month? How can he decide what my daughter will do or what my daughter will not do? Now
Right.
I'm just thinking from the other side. This girl is already 35. You know, there are biological limitations. There are other things which you
True.
need to consider. You are getting married. You found a match. You like each other. Just because the boy's father said something, just broke off the engagement.
Right. Right.
You know, the boy and girl could have actually sat down together, decided कि हम ये
Exactly. I
करेंगे
was
नहीं,
just coming to that only. I mean, she's 35.
नहीं
She
करेंगे.
can make
तो
her own
ऐसा भी होता
decisions.
है. Your views and what do you
Yeah.
think? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
We are talking about children making their own decisions and then we are
Yeah.
deciding for themselves. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I feel firstly her age is 35. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand because nowadays the age of getting married is definitely dealing with that's again okay.
Yeah.
Point number two is you are pretty old enough when you're making all your decisions by yourself.
Yeah.
Why do you have to just for a small little thing? You could have sorted out with that guy. You could have called him, probably meet
Exactly.
him over
Yeah.
coffee. At
Yeah.
least talk it out and see. You
Yeah.
could have come to a conclusion if you like that guy, if he
Yeah.
liked you. If he didn't like, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But when you know, I mean, this is very petty thing. Doesn't make sense to me, I feel.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't
I'm
make
saying,
sense.
you know, relationships are getting destroyed just on small petty things which can be, you know,
Yes,
just spoken to, talked about,
exactly.
communicated and
Yeah.
resolved. कि चलो ये
Yeah.
आगे बढ़ते हैं, you know.
Yeah.
Then there is that last thing which you said,
Yeah, I
होने
mean,
वाला होगा तो वही होगा. It was never destined.
absolutely,
This marriage was
absolutely.
never destined to happen.
Exactly.
इसीलिए नहीं हुआ, you know. In the end, it's all like that. Yeah.
Yes, and I'd also like to add another point. Too much of interference of parents and in-laws is again not good.
Yeah.
This is not good, you know, I've
Yeah.
seen. It's
Yeah.
just not good.
Yeah.
Once, see, both are adults, both are now not that kindergarten kids, okay?
Yes.
That phase has gone.
Yeah.
Leave them, let them decide. We are there for you if
Yeah.
you need anything.
Yes.
But we should not interfere into their life and decide for them, like
Yeah.
what he did. Okay,
Yeah.
now she will not work. Who are you? No.
Yeah.
Let the girl and the boy decide.
Yes.
If they come to a conclusion, then that's a different level altogether.
Yeah.
Now, I feel never interfere. This is what I
Yeah.
don't like.
Yeah.
Nobody will interfere in my life. I don't interfere in anybody's life until and unless I've been asked to.
Yeah.
That's very important. I've seen a lot of parents, a lot of in-laws have interfered into their kids' life, and as a result, sometimes the relationship just breaks up.
Yeah.
This is not good. I would like to say this through this media. Please leave your children alone. Be there
Yeah.
for them,
Yes.
but don't interfere on day to day. अच्छा ये हुआ, अच्छा ये कर देना, अच्छा वो ना,
हाँ,
no,
exactly. तेरे को
don't do
ऐसा
that.
बोला, ऐसा नहीं बोला.
No, don't do that. Let them sort it out. They will never learn.
Yeah. I
Life
know,
is a
I-
learning process. I'm
Yeah.
still learning.
Yes.
We all learn.
All of us are. All of us
All
are.
of us are learning, and this is the harder you face challenges, the faster you learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So don't spoon feed your kids.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Don't spoon feed your kids. Only then you can have
Yes,
great
absolutely.
relationships. Yes.
Absolutely. My younger
Yes.
one is going to university. I said, you will learn your way. I have taught you what to do. Rest
Yeah.
you will do.
Yeah.
Elder one, like well handled. Second one also. I'm said nothing doing. You call me Hitler, whatever. I don't care. You have to learn it. The way I have learned, you have to learn it. And
Yes.
tomorrow you will thank me. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know, I know. You know, it's been a real treat, a real pleasure talking to you about things that happen in daily life. You know, many a times we are talking about things which are, you know, either imaginary or, you know, not real, and then we can keep on talking for hours about those things. But these are things that affect all of us.
We miss out.
Yes,
And I love to
yes.
talk on these things
Yeah.
because this is so relatable. It's in every family.
Yes.
You know, and then forget the marriage. I feel sometimes parents also interfere too much in
Yes.
small kids, you know, kids who are growing up,
Yes.
like holding on to them.
Yeah.
Don't do this, don't do that. No, let them lose, let them learn.
Yes. Yes.
They'll fall, they will get hurt, they will learn.
Exactly.
Don't hold back.
Exactly. Yes.
Let them
Let them
understand.
fall.
Let them
fall.
understand. Yes,
Yes,
the
let
pain
them
and
fall.
yes,
Let them go through that pain. Let them
Yes.
make that pain and experience and learning.
yes.
Only then they will be able to
That's the
move
only
ahead.
way. That's the way we have learned, and that's the way
Yes.
I would
And
suggest.
that is probably the only way to learn.
That is the only way.
Self-learning. That is the only
There is no formula, and there is no full remedy of everything you'll get, like, you know, on a silver
on a
platter.
platter. Yes, you will
Nothing on
never.
one silver platter.
Yes. Yes.
So that's
Really,
all.
really wonderful. Great session we have had up to today.
Thank you.
Premraj,
Thank you so
if
much.
you would like to, you know, summarize the session, a few takeaways from the point, and then you could go ahead and close. And in between, if anybody has a question from the audience, you are welcome to ask.
Doesn't look like anyone has any questions. Thank you, Seema,
Thank you
for a
so
very,
much.
very
Thank you.
interactive interaction that we have had. We have covered a whole gamut of topics. Many of the things that we knew, you validated those things for us, and you give us enough pointers as to how to take relationships forward, whether it's a marriage relationship, whether it's a parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
We will cherish this talk that we have had, and we are looking forward to more interactions with Bloom. Thank you for your time. Thank you, and God bless.
Yes, and
thank
looking
you.
forward to meeting a Jhalak Dikhhla Jaa
Oh, yes,
participant and
absolutely.
winner in person. Yes.
Thank you so much. And from the core of my heart, I thank Blue World. I thank Miss Payal, Mr. Premraj, Mr. Deepak. It was
Yeah.
such a lovely session. I mean, I was so excited. You
Yes.
know, I mean, I was really looking forward to make this session as interactive, as interesting, because it's such a important, you know, topic to talk on, and we can go
Yes.
on for hours together.
Yes.
Probably we'll do another session.
Oh
with
yes, most
another
definitely.
topic,
We will reconnect.
because, you know,
Yes. Yes.
on different issues. I feel we need to talk. We need to
Yes.
bring out in the society. There are a lot
Yes.
of hush goes on,
Yeah.
which is we have to educate people. This is the only way to do it.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, and for having me over. And it's
Thank you.
truly an
Thank
honor.
you.
you.
And
Yes.
all the very best for your forthcoming
Thank you.
sessions.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you
Bye.
everyone for joining in, taking time out. See you again next Sunday for another Sunday Bloom Talk Show. Stay tuned. God bless everyone.